Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead, and it's Thankful Thursday. So, today I'm going to make a fattening dessert. Just because, remember, I bought those pie tins and they expired in June, so I want to get those used up. I have two of them. I have a chocolate and a regular. So, we are going to do a dessert today. But we have usually do desserts on Thursdays anyway. So, I asked God to help me pick what I was going to talk about today, and I really didn't get much, so I decided to do something on joy. So according to the dictionary, joy is an emotion evoked by well-being, success, or good fortune by prospect of processing that one desires. The expression of or exhibition of such emotion, a state of happiness or felicity, a source of cause or delight. And so I picked a Bible verse, Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness. And the kind of reason I did joy is because even though my kitchen was a little bit of a disarray last night, it is such a joy to be able to have my grandchildren, and, you know, even though they're getting into everything and whatever, it's such a joy. And I think that with our days and times right now, joy might be something very hard for us to come up with. Even in the last week, we've had so many things happen, and the last few years have just been, hard on all of us. And I know, like, with right now, they've taken away all the overtime. And that puts things even tighter than they were before. And that takes joy away from your life because it puts stress in your life. And, you know, I think we need to find reasons to be joyful and to be happy. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's not a good thing that we have to do that, but I mean, it's a good thing that we try to find those things. So, you know how it is. I'm space cased and whatever. So, let's start out with prayer, get our dessert done, and then let's see what I can come up with. All right. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for everybody that's watching and everyone that pops in. Thank you so much for the entire world, even though we don't experience them. Thank you for all that you do for us. Even if the bad comes in, thank you for all the good that you bring. Through experience and through love and everything else, the bad can turn into good. Not everything that's meant to harm us will, and you've said that. I want to ask you to please protect people around us. Protect them from the economy, just feelings of helplessness sometimes. Hopelessness. Help people that need their health restored. I'd ask if you continue to pray for Reed and to protect him. I know he's not doing well, but you're the best doctor out there, and you can change things. I ask that the people that really, really need lifting up, that you do. And just like that saying, the footprints on the sand, I know that you can carry us, because you're strong enough to do it. I know that your love for us is endless, and that all we've got to do is come to you and ask you. Ask and you shall receive. It may not be in our time, but in yours. I ask that you continue to bless each and every person that's in my community, because I have a great one. I ask all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So, let's get on to the dessert. Alright, so we're going to make chocolate pie. It is one of Tom's favorites, and he absolutely loves it. And I'm going to make it a little bit different this time. So I'm going to take a 5.9 ounce box of chocolate pudding. I love chocolate pudding. Actually, my favorite pudding is butterscotch. I love it. I love lemon pudding. Chocolate's good. pudding is a good thing. So I forgot to tell you guys, I lost another pound. I know it's coming off slowly, but I'm up to 35 pounds now. I'm so excited. All right, so now we need 3 cups of milk. And my sugar was 179 today. So it's coming down. I have not done any of the shots, and it's coming down, I think, because I'm taking my medicine, which is basically metformin. And I'm watching more of what I'm eating. And like last night, I had a few bites of the chicken and my potatoes, and I was full because I'm not going to lie, I had 3 pieces of pizza for lunch yesterday. And we found a donut shop, and since I didn't have the kids today, and today's donut day, we decided to stop at a donut shop over in Middleton, and we got Emmy a cookie and AJ a donut, and me and Jack got a donut. And Jack's like, these are so much better than the the other place we usually stop at, because they're homemade, you know, and they're really, really good. So I thought for sure with cheating yesterday that I'd gain weight today, and I didn't, and my sugar didn't go up either. It was like 231 before dinner, so considering it was in the 300s, I'm very joyful for that. It is coming down. All right, so we're going to add 3 cups of milk to that. And I don't think you need to hear my mixer, so I'll be right back. All right, so it's all nice and mixed together. So we're going to take my crust, and we're going to put about half of that pudding in the bottom. I know this is a rice scoop, but honestly, I love it. I do. I know it's not meant for other stuff, but I really do like it to use it as a spoon. Now I'm going to take half of my container of whipped cream, and I'm going to mix it in with that. What's left. This is going to be pretty full for my pie. Yeah, with Reed, if you notice that I asked for prayer, he was home one day, and they had to take him back to the hospital. They chose not to take him back to Sparrow, where he's been, and they took him to U of M. So, and unfortunately, they've had to put him back on the breathing thing, and he can't get rid of his fever. It's running like 105, and they thought they had figured out what it was, and they didn't, and so, yeah. I'm not sure he's in a definite way that he needs prayer. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. I just hope that he comes through all this. Alrighty. Then we're going to take that other half and we're going to put it on top. This is going to be a nice full pie. Look at that. If you wanted to add even more calories to it, if you wanted to like shave some chocolate on the top or put caramel on there, whatever you want to do, you could do. Let's make some fluffies. Da 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 da. I just had to do a fingerful of it. Let me pull this in the refrigerator. It's in the refrigerator, thickening up for tonight. Belle's out here thinking she needs to be a superstar again. So I liked the verse because it said, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness. And if you think about it, when you have all of those mixed together, that's a pretty good life. You know what I mean? If you experience love, doesn't love bring you joy? if you have patience, that brings you joy. I know that's something I've been working on for a couple of years, is patience. Road rage, actually. And so, you know, I have been working on it really hard, and every time I get angry, I tell God that I'm sorry. You know, I'm such a failure at it, but sometimes there's just really stupid people. And I'm trying to get better with it, and it's just not working very well. When we feel peace and kindness and goodness and faithfulness, all of that brings us joy. There's so many things that can bring us joy that we don't even realize. Like, okay, truthfulness for the instance, all right? If you know that your children tell you the truth about everything, doesn't that bring you joy? You know, I have a friend of mine that she's like, what do you mean your kids always tell you the truth? And they probably don't tell me everything. But believe me, I know things I don't even want to know. Because I've raised them that truth is very, very important. Honor, respect, you know, kindness, all those things. And I think when you are a parent or a grandparent and you're helping to raise children, that you instill that into your children and grandchildren. That honesty and faithfulness, you know, is very, very important. To me, honesty is my biggest thing. My dad drilled it into me, and I drilled it into my kids. Lying is not acceptable, even if you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. You know, because the truth is always the best thing. I think if there was more honesty in this world, it'd be a whole better world. Because you wouldn't wonder what people were up to. You would just know. So honesty brings me joy. You know, even when I can remember when my kids were little and they would do something wrong and they'd come to me and they'd tell me, you know. And we had a deal. If you told me the truth, you didn't get in trouble. If you lied to me, well, that's another story. And so they knew the consequences. And, you know, I don't know if they feared the punishment or they just didn't want to look. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But, yeah. So they were honest, and they knew that they weren't going to face a whole bunch of trouble if they were honest. And that brought such joy to my life. Kindness. You know, kindness is one thing. It doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't cost you anything to be good to people. You know, I think that people think that you got to, you know, go out and like, well, we do, you know, the bigger homeless thing and you know, that you have to do it that to that extent. No, you don't. No, you don't. I see homeless people every single day that I leave this house, and, you know, sometimes just a hi or acknowledge that they're there, you know, and that they're not subhuman, believe me, does a lot more than you think it does. Goodness. I think that brings you joy too. I think that when you're bad, you know that you're bad, and it eats at you. You know, like, if you curse somebody out, and whether they deserved it or not, you know, and you do it, then you think about it later, and you're like, ugh, did they really deserve it like that? And maybe they did. Maybe they did. But it doesn't make you feel good. And when you show goodness, that brings you joy. Because, like, my sister and I were talking the other day, and I'm not going to get to the extent of it, but, you know, she says, why do you do that for that person? Even though they don't like you or whatever. And I said to her, I said, because I'm a Christian, I'm a good person. And I'm not going to stoop to their level. And I'm not going to. I will treat them right and good, regardless of how they feel. You know, kill them with kindness, isn't that what they say? So, you know, people figure things out later, and you know, that's okay. That's okay. But that brings me joy to know that I don't have to stoop down. That I can look up and say, you know what? Bless this person, pray for this person, whatever it happens to be. That brings me joy. Peace. That's why I love this verse. Peace brings me joy. And not just peace in our world, which right now, very disappointed. Hold on one second. Let me shake down our food. All right, hopefully that fixes it. But peace. I'm very disappointed that our leaders have done... Anyways, I don't agree with war. I know that sometimes it's a necessity. But I hate to see so many lives ruined. Because big boys can't talk. You know, and work things out. And I think about all the children and grandchildren that won't wake up tomorrow. And I listened to something on YouTube, and the guy says that we're headed for something that's worse than the Depression. And, you know, and people talk about us turning into, you know, a socialist, communist country, whatever. And it literally makes me cry, because I think about my children. I have all boys, and they could be sent off to war. And it, you know, sorry. And I have 2 grandsons. And I want them to experience the freedoms in which we've had. The choices in which they could make for themselves. I don't want my grandchildren to wake up in the morning wondering how they're going to eat. Or, you know, if war came to our country and my grandchildren worrying about dodging bombs or whatever, and like a lot of these other countries do. So, I'm not going to cry. But I worry about those things. You know, you think, like my mom said, you know, when she was still alive, she goes, you know, I worry about you kids more now than I did when you were little. And I never understood what she meant. But when you get older, there's so many things you have to worry about. You know, God doesn't want us to worry, but, you know, we worry about our kids and our grandkids and their futures. And I look at my grandbabies and I think to myself, I want them to have a good life. I want there to be peace. I want there to be choices, and I know that we all go through bumps. I mean, we're doing that ourselves right now, you know. But I want them to experience that peace, not just outer peace, but inner peace as well. She's rubbing up against me, so I'm petting her, so maybe she'll stop crying. But, so peace would bring you so much joy. It really, really would. Trying to think of the other one. But the fruit of the Spirit, that's great. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer today. I want it to be positive. I want to know that joy is in your heart. Joy can come from so many different things. And when I looked at those grandbabies yesterday, and they were, now my cat's shaking the camera. Come here, Belle. Come here. But, you know, you look at them, and yesterday I'll tell you a story. So when I went up to go do graves in May, I took just Emmy because AJ was in school, and I seen a farmer alongside the road on a tractor. And I rolled down Emmy's window, and the farmer was like, "Hi, buddy, how you doing?" and everything else. And finally, when we pulled away, Emmy goes, "Hi," like that, you know, and he was so excited because him and AJ love tractors and trucks and cars, you know, they're all boys. But, so yesterday on the way up, AJ says to me, he goes, Grandma, it's just not fair. And I go, what's not fair? He goes, I've not got to meet a farmer. Stop, Bill. And I says, well, let's see what Grandma can do. Well, we got over by Fowler, and I seen 3 guys sitting out what looked like a farm, but we pulled in there, and I found it was an irrigation company. I'm like, nope, this isn't it. So I backed out. And, you know, as a parent or a grandparent, we want to make our children joyful as well. And so I'm driving down the road, and this property that my mom and dad's friends used to own, they sold it, and the people tore down the house, and they made it into a big dairy farm. And for the first time ever of driving down through there, I seen people outside. So I pulled up next to the gator, and the lady looks at me because she doesn't know me, and I says, I know this is going to sound really stupid. And she looks at me because she was talking to somebody else, and I go, my grandson really wants to meet a farmer. And she goes, well, bring him on up here. And so AJ got out of his car seat, and he came up front, and she says, how do you do? And he says, good. And she goes, how would you like to pet my cows? Because they had the little baby cows, you know. And so he goes, I'd love it. So Jack got out, and Jack had never petted a cow before either. And he petted the cow. He was in like 7th heaven. And the lady goes, if he'd have been here just 10 minutes earlier, she says, that guy that just left, I said, yeah. She goes, he could have given him a ride in the tractor. AJ's like, that's a bummer, Grandma. So we go to turn around, and he goes, those weren't baby cows, Grandma. He goes, those were cows. And I said, yeah, but look in there. And I pointed into the building, and there was these big milk cows. And he goes, Grandma, I was wrong. Those are baby cows. But when I looked at him and the joy and the happiness that he had, and he told his mommy on the phone, I got to meet a farmer, and I got to pet a cow, and whatever. And even through someone else's happiness brought so much joy to me, and that I made something that he wanted to happen. And you know what? It didn't cost me anything. So joy can be a thing that we give to others. But when we give to others, it just brings it right back into us, and it makes us so warm, you know? And I think that that feeling that we feel when we do that is the greatest feeling. To know that we fulfilled others. We fulfill what we need to for Christ, always and above everything. And I fall short every day. Believe me, bad every day. I just keep working on it. But I would think that God would have joy in us every time we do try, and we do try to be better people. I think that, you know, as a father, he would be like, that's my kid, you know. And you want to bring that joy. And I want, like AJ and Emmy and my kids to go, that's my mom, you know, or that's my grandma. And, you know, when you guys say nice things, you know, I want you to know that brings so much joy to my life. You know, like the likes are very important on our channel. It helps to push us out there. Very, very important. So are the comments. And, you know, all that aside, I know that the comments help, but I love to read. And when you guys, like a couple of funny stories yesterday, and, you know, personal experiences, and how you guys were so understanding about my grandkids, even though my camera was doing this. But I love to read that because I'm getting to know you through the comments, and that brings such joy to my heart, and I appreciate that more than you know. And keep those funny stories coming. I mean, I love that. And, you know, talking about your own grandkids and whatever, because as grandparents, how can we not be proud? I mean, I loved it. AJ was doing my announcement for me, Chris at City Girl Homestead. And I asked him yesterday, I said, AJ, I said, when you get older, because I think as parents and grandparents, we all think about it. You know, our kids get busy doing their own things, and then the grandkids grow up and they get busy doing their own things. And that's why so many old people are lonely. So I said to him, I said, AJ, when you get older, are you going to still come visit Grandma? And he goes, well, Grandma, He says, after I get done doing my YouTube videos, because I think he plans on being a YouTuber too. I started something terrible, but anyway. So he says, after I get done doing my YouTube videos, and he says, I will text you first. And I go, okay, but you plan on coming around, right? And he says, yeah. I know, because you know, grandparents live longer if their grandkids come see him. He goes, really? And I said, yeah. He goes, I'll visit. And then I go, maybe when you get older, we can go on vacations together. He goes, out of state? And I go, absolutely. So, what joy that brings, you know what I mean? Because who wants to be that grandparent or parent that sits at home forever and their kids don't come see him, or grandkids? I think it's a sad life. And so many people don't. They don't think about that anymore. Like, I never thought of not going to see my grandma. And I talked to AJ about that. I said, you know where grandma lives now? And he says, yeah. And I go, I lived in the same city, and my grandma lived up where we go fishing or swimming. And he goes, she did? And I said, yeah. And I go, you know what? When I got 16 and I could drive up there, I'd go up there and spend the weekend with her. And I even moved up there at one point to be close to her. And he goes, you really did? And I said, yeah. Because she meant the world to me. And I wanted her to know that. So, I'm rambling on. I'm sure we all know what joy is. So today, if you would, put in the comments what makes you joyful. And let's see if we can maybe contribute a lot of joy out there today and make people smile and make people happy. Because never make people happy and lose yourself. Don't do that. Because yourself is what makes people joyful. So don't lose yourself. But, you know, write in the comments what makes you joyful. And maybe we can start a trend that we can make a whole lot of happy people today. Because I'm surprised at how many people actually read all the comments. Which, that's amazing to me. And I appreciate that. And I love getting to know you guys. It really, I don't know. I felt like YouTube was a calling. And I'm not going to lie. I want to make enough money eventually so that, you know, even when we're on the road, we can still cook and travel and do things. And I wanted to do it for an income as well, because I don't want to do my other job. And, but YouTube and you guys has brought such joy to my life. Like, I look forward to scurrying through recipes and maybe adjusting them, making them my own, whatever it happens to be. And I love coming here every day and talking to you guys. And, like, I feel like sometimes I should have filmed that because, you know, I want to bring my friends along with me, you know. Because that's how I see you guys, as friends and family. And I am so thankful for each and every one of you. You mean the world to me, more than you ever will know. It's like, when we sit here talking, it's like, you guys really are here, right here with me. And that means the world to me. And I hope that, you know, my videos can maybe just bring a little bit of joy to your life every day. If not, tell me. I don't care. You know, let me know if, like, Chris, you suck. But thank you for coming along this journey with me. I appreciate it more than you know. And I love you guys more than you know. And go out there and be joyful today. Bring joy to someone else. Be the people that I know that you are. You're such beautiful people. I love you. God bless you. And I will see you for supper tonight.